Hi, Susan Olsen. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good.
So, what inspired you to be an actress?
Well, not a whole lot at first because I was only 14 months old and I didn't have any inspirations really to do much of anything. I happened to be picked to do some commercials and all of the kids in my family, there's 4 kids, they all got discovered to be in acting. And when I was 3, my mother was sick of the whole thing, and my sister was 8, and she wanted to quit, so my mom took me out of the business, and we were all going to lead a happy, normal life. And then when I was 5, a talent scout came to my kindergarten and picked me to do a TV show. And so my mom said, well, you know, your brothers and sister did it, do you want to be an actress? And I just thought, well, that's what you do, you know. I saw my brothers on TV and movies, and I said, sure, yeah, it would be fun. And I ended up really enjoying it.
hmm What was the best part of being on the Brady Bunch?
The rest of the cast, because now I have another family. All 6 of us kids, and Florence and Ann, we've all remained in touch, and we're very close, and we actually love each other even probably more than what you see on the TV screen, because we didn't have to share a house, so we never argued. We're still very good friends.
What was it? Was it an honor to be placed on VH1's top 100 child stars of film and TV?
Yes, definitely. I don't remember what number I came in at, but yeah, that's great.
For all the aspiring actors in our class, do you have an horror edition stories? And if so, what did you learn from them?
You know, I was so young, and then when I got older, I didn't really do a whole lot about auditioning. But you know, I was so young. There really weren't like awful casting couch type stories. People were pretty mindful of being nice to little kids. I did go on one interview though where they asked me how many dirty words I knew, and I came out and I told my mother, and she just got horrified, and she called my agent, and she's like, why would you put her on an audition like that? Apparently it was something with a little bit more adult material. And then the other thing I remember very well is I was pretty young, but I teach acting for children, and I always advise them, if you go on a commercial audition and the product they have, in my case it was graham crackers, if they ask you if you like them, don't say no, say yes. They asked me if I like graham crackers, and I said no, I can't stand them. Like, well, would you take a bite out of one just for the audition? And I'm like, nope. So my mom wasn't too pleased with me after that. But that was about it. I mean, you know, I don't really have horror stories. It's all been pretty pleasant.
Okay. What was your experience like lending your voice on Space Ghost Coast to Coast?
Well, I had absolutely no idea how cool that was. I didn't know what Space Ghost was. It was just a gig, and my manager said, no, you've got to do this. It's cool. You need to do this. And then my nephew told me how cool it was. And since then, my son has found out that I was on it, and he's telling me that it's really cool. So I guess it's really cool. It was just fun, you know.
Okay. You were featured on Celebrity Ghost Stories. For those of us who don't have cable, can you give us a brief synopsis?
Well, I had an experience where I had what seemed to be an entity that would come and be mean to me at night. I'd go to sleep and I'd get into a place that was just in between being asleep and being awake, so I was aware of things, but I couldn't move.
Right.
And this creature, whatever it was, would start out being nice, would be stroking my hair, and then would slap me, or it would pinch me, it would call my name, and the theory that a psychic friend of mine had was because this all happened right after I met my first husband, and right after we divorced, it went away. And then he came over to visit like a year and a half later, because we were working on a project together, and by golly, that thing came with him. And that night I was visited again. So my psychic friend thought that it might be a twin of my first husband was adopted, and he thought that maybe there was a twin that had passed away before being born, and that twin was following him around. I don't know that I believe that. I think it's just that sometimes there's really negative energy around people, and if you're really sensitive, you can pick up on that, and then the way you pick up on it is it feels like it's a person. But I don't dabble in those things anymore. People tell me, I have psychics come up and go, there are so many spirits around you that want to talk to you because you're so sensitive and you know you're psychic. I'm like, no. I don't want any of that. I don't want to talk to any spirits. That's not a place I want to go.
Yeah. Okay. How have you maintained your career in this industry for so long?
Well, not very well, in my opinion. I really didn't pursue acting for quite a while, and I became an artist, and really felt like that was more my medium, and wasn't so crazy about acting. And then the Brady Bunch kept rising from the dead, and there'd be new Brady productions, and so. The first one was when the older girls got married, and then every so often there's a Brady project. So that would always take me out of my regular job and put me back in the industry where maybe I might get a couple of other things. And then finally, and this is off of Brady Bunch CDs that were released, I started doing radio to advertise them. They were paying me to go around advertising the CDs, and I liked radio so much that I wanted to do radio. So, I just, positive thinking and being intuitive and thinking this is something I could do, and having this inkling that maybe if I got on Howard Stern, I would do well and it would help me. And sure enough, I did Howard's show. And the station in LA that carried Howard chose me as one of the hosts when they went to All Talk. So Ken Ober and I had a talk show. We used to follow Howard Stern. So it's really, everything as far as the industry goes, it's luck. You can say in anything else, like graphic art or, but sure, with acting you still need to do hard work.
Right.
But there's such a huge luck factor to it. So, knock wood, I guess I've been lucky.
Right.
But I'd like to be luckier.
Do you have any tips on how to start off as young actors?
Yeah, just I have an acting class. Well, I have 3 acting classes that I teach. Nowadays, back when I was a kid, they didn't want you to study acting. They wanted you to be natural, and that's not the case anymore. Now, they want kids to be trained, to know how to memorize lines. Usually they want them to have their lines memorized maybe on the first audition. So I say go to class and just practice, keep practicing. And if you quit, it'll never happen. If you stick with it, something's bound to go right for you.
Right. We noticed you're an artist as well. What was it like to transition from acting to art?
Actually, I consider myself to be an artist first. And during the time when I was 3 and my mom took me out of the business, before I got discovered again, I was in kindergarten, and that was the first thing that I knew that I could do a little bit better than other kids. And I drew a picture of a horse, and the teacher called my mom over, and she picked me up and said, you have to, you know, your daughter has artistic talent, and you need to help her with that and encourage her. And my mom's like, of course, I already know that. I am encouraging her. But I had a really good mom.
Yeah. We also researched that you are an advocate for animal rescue. What were some of the animals you rescued?
I've rescued, I no longer foster parent, but I started out working with the shelters. And I was in the bottle baby program. So that means taking in little kittens and puppies that are too young to be weaned. They have to be fed with a bottle. And you keep them until they're big enough to be spayed and neutered, and then they can be adopted. And you know, that takes a little while for kittens. And it turned out all the calls I got were for kittens. They never had puppies that needed to be weaned. And it turns out that kittens and cats are really in a major crisis because there's so many of them, and they reproduce, and people let their cats out and they don't spay and neuter. And there's a lot of unwanted cats. But I got involved with a group called Precious Paws, preciouspaws.org, and so now instead of doing it for the shelter, I'm working with them. But in the 4 years that I did foster parent, I rescued 64 kittens. And I only kept 3.
Right. Last question. What inspired you to be a part of Actors for Autism?
Well, I have a son on the spectrum, so of course I'm going to be supportive. You know, I know what it's like for you guys, and I've got a guy of mine, you know, who has the same struggles, and autism is a very, very, very important thing for people to understand, because your numbers are growing, you know. Yeah, I mean, there's more and more cases of autism, and we need to accept what's perfectly normal about it, and learn how to deal with people on the spectrum.
Right. Thank you very much for your interview.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure too.
Great. Good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Boom, boom, boom.